Do you have a health habit that you would like to change or add or improve? Dive in with me today. Some more thinking from Atomic Habits. Going to have a really great thought about it. If you're here with me live, so nice to be with you. Throw your questions, comments in the chat. Happy to have a discussion with you. And the same goes if you're coming through on the replay. Really nice to have you here as well. Treat it like it's live. Throw your comments, questions, reflections into the comments. They will come to me and we'll have an ongoing discussion about it as we are all trying to move forward together. We're trying to create the environment. That's what we're going today. Help us really shape our environment to make it as easy as possible to make our best choices, what they describe in here as a choice architecture. Think of the environment that way. It's a choice architecture. It's a structure that you're moving through that is helping you to make the decisions that you are making. And is it helping you make good decisions, or is it helping you make not quite the optimal ones? And if we can see that and tweak it and change it, then we are altering our choice architecture and we are supporting our walk in better health. I say it's a much more thoughtful framework than just brute forcing our way into something through pure willpower and fighting as many battles as we have to get there. I say let's try to shape things so that we have to fight as few battles as possible. Move through a space thoughtfully, graciously, flowing through it. This is what I want. This is why I love a water analogy so much, like a sailboat or like a river. Things that are just moving with nature, flowing through a space. This is what we want. In a fasting space, this is what we want energy to be doing in the body, especially if you're trying to lose weight. I really want to help you lose weight if you want to do it, because this is the fundamental place where we start in getting metabolic health and healing, is to say, let's start optimizing our body weight. And if it's over a place where we really feel good about, we say we want to create an environment, shape it so that we're helping the energy to flow back out of the body. A fasting space, the reason I call this session fasting space, because a fasting space in the body, such a valuable place to be able to do that. You say, in a modern society that I call consumption culture, where there's frequently energy coming into the body, okay, very hard to create a situation where energy is flowing back out of the body. Always energy is coming in, and then we have to overcome that and overpower it. And this is how we get in a cycle. Got to exercise and exercise, which I am all for if you feel called to it, if it is the joyful path. But what I say many times, what I see as a more effective process for many people, is to get the dietary process, the fasting process, balancing out, healthy eating, getting that in a place that is moving the needle forward. And then from that place, once that is stable, then start adding in the movement is often a better way to do it. Okay, this section, we're in chapter 6 now of Atomic Habits, and it is called Motivation is Overrated. Environment often matters more. I do love that. We did the session the other day, remember, action first, emotion follows, something like that. Often we're waiting for this incredible motivation to strike, and then we think then we'll go and then it'll be easier. The mental shift is to say we identify the action that would be best, and it's often after we take the step, then the emotion follows to say, oh, that was good, and it starts to build momentum and excitement. But the real trick is we have to take the first step, and that's what gets the cycle going. And so that's what I want to help you with today. How do you take that first step? How do you make it as easy as possible when it feels like the deck is stacked against you? Listen to this framework. He tells a story here about a primary care doctor at Mass General Hospital who said, like, let us try to help everyone be healthier by helping them make healthier decisions at lunch. And I love that because hospital cafeteria can be an unhealthy place. And so what they called it, that's where it comes, a study on altering the choice architecture of the hospital cafeteria. And the thing that they wanted to target first was soda. I say, hey, that's great. They're saying, what if we could just get everybody drinking less soda and more water? And how would we do it? I really like that. Here's what they did. Researchers looked at the original state where refrigerators located next to the cash registers were filled with only soda. And so they added water as an option to each one. Okay, can't get people drinking the water if there's only soda there. Additionally, they placed baskets of water next to all of the food stations throughout the room. And soda was still present, but water was now available at all drink locations. And over the next 3 months, the number of soda sales dropped by 11.4%, and the sales of bottled water increased 26%. Nobody had said a word to anyone, right? Nobody forced, nobody pushing things in any direction. Here's what it looked like. Let me show you. Oh, Marie is here. Good morning. Yes, I see you now. Hello. How are you? Yes, identity shifting, difficult. Hey, let's dive into it. And I'm going to be running my thinking on it as I am showing this. Here's what they're showing. They're showing before and after in the cafeteria. On the left, they're seeing they had 2 little stations where you could grab a water bottle, but not really prime real estate. Soda getting the prime real estate there by the cashier. And then look over on the right in the future state, they added all the little circles, little baskets of water everywhere you could buy food. You could also grab a water, and then now you at least got some water in the main places right by the soda. And so that's the difference. So just as a perspective, you think, how do you design a space? I say tackling soda consumption in a prime location, a really great move to help, make a little tweak to help support health. So here is doing it in a giant cafeteria. How do you do it in our own personal space, like in the fridge, in our life, in our house? And how do we shape decisions like this? I just love that you can actually see it, right? How do we have an environment that gets these results? Nobody shouting at everybody in the cafeteria saying, like, don't you want to make the healthy choice? Nobody's shaming anybody. Like, why are you buying that? Nobody's doing that, right? It's just available. You know what I mean? And then it's having these real results. See, I love that. This is my first thought, taking that sort of concept and idea, identity shifting, difficult. Can something like this be a first step? I love it. Where it's like, okay, doing deep work, identity shift, I describe that's deep work, right? That's like I've had a way of being in the world for many, many years. This is like who I am down at a foundational level. That's not the thing that you just yank over into a different space, as far as I see. That's something that takes thoughtful reflection. It's something that takes time. It's something that takes patience. Definitely have patience with yourself. Don't have any sort of mindset that is, oh my gosh, 2 weeks have gone by and look, I haven't overhauled my entire identity. You know what I mean? That's the type of thing that we want to really let simmer a little bit. And then can we bring in something like this where it just helps? We make the change we want. We're seeing the change we want. We're saying what would be the most perfect space to help flowing in that direction be as easy and as natural as possible, where it feels like grabbing the water bottle out of the basket was the right thing to do. Didn't even really have to struggle about it. Listen to what they say here. People often choose a product, and I would say, let's expand it to say make any type of decision, not because of what the product is or what the decision is, but because of where it is, the context around it. If I walk into the kitchen and I see cookies on the counter, I pick up a cookie. Hadn't been thinking about it beforehand, didn't necessarily want it. Okay, but you see that the environment shaped it. Have you had experiences like that? I know I've had so many experiences like that, especially when I was at the university and we had a special cookie table with always treats, always things. My personal routine, I just didn't walk in that room anymore, because if you walk into the room and then the donut platter is sitting there and you start smelling it and you see it and it's like, oh my gosh, then the probability just went way up that I would eat it. And then when I ate one, then the probability opens that I would have two. You know what I mean? It's like, that's not a healthy environment. That is not making it easy for me. It's making it very difficult. So I say, I'm the type of person that walks by that room now and I walk right back to my office. So much easier than fighting the battle. Standing over the plate thinking, now I've got to get my identity right? I'm not the type of person who's going to sit here at work munching donuts, right? That I got to really get into the core, because maybe I am still, you know what I mean? But it's like, if I don't stand there in the first place, then we can still flow forward in progress without having to fight it. This is what they say. If a communal table at the office is always filled with donuts and bagels, it's going to be hard not to grab one. Yeah, it is so hard. Your habits change depending on the room you're in and the cues in front of you. Why we got to be so thoughtful about the rooms that we're in and the cues that we're having. That's what I say, especially at home. Say we can't control everything about the world, and we've got to be in different places, and we're going to run into difficult situations when we're in a world that is full of unhealthy things. That's why I say home is like the sanctuary. Home should be the purified space where we make it as easy and supportive as possible. Like he's saying, if we're keeping a platter of cookies out, like they're going to get eaten, right? So we say, we want to maybe not make so many cookies, right? That's like upstream, right? And then if we have the cookies, maybe keep them in the cupboard, only bring it out for the specific time, right? These are the types of things that could shape the environment. They go through a bunch of discussion here about marketing. I underlined this section. Customers will buy products not because they want them, but because of how they are presented to them. There's like a key thing just to think about. How are we making decisions? Aren't we, I'm talking to myself, aren't we susceptible to marketing just like anybody else? They say items at eye level tend to be purchased more than those near the floor. Something looks good, easy, right? So they're trying to make things as easy as possible to sell to us, right? They say 44% of Coca-Cola sales come from the end racks, those end caps things, because it's like right there, the most traffic, everybody heading into the aisle, beautiful displays, like bright red things, like you want to grab it. I don't know, I'm just thinking now, it's like, oh, looks like an apple on a tree. Like here is like somewhere deep in like the human experience, picking a fruit off the tree. Now we're grabbing the red can off of the shelf. I don't know. That's kind of interesting to think about. They see here, many of the actions we take each day are not shaped by purposeful drive and choice, but because they are the most obvious and easy option. So interesting, right? here's a way to kind of take some pressure off this whole thing of like, oh, identity shifting, is like, you don't want to create an experience where it's like, oh, like, because like we have an identity, right? And it's like, we can think about teasing out like our actions from the identity, even in some manner, where it's like, okay, there's like a core self in here. There's actions that are happening. And yes, changing the identity, if we can say, okay, I'm a person who makes healthy decisions now, whereas I haven't in the past. You say, this is important to me. That's the type of thing where you say, I'm like growing, improving, learning. But then when we see that the choices we make can be influenced by so many things, even outside of ourselves, including marketing and visual hacking of the way a brain is working, okay, then we can start to have grace with ourselves too, where it's like, okay, it's not like my identity is just failing here. It's just that it's very difficult, and we're trying to combat these forces against us. And remember what I like to say, we don't have to be perfect, right? Just doing our best when you encounter something like that. See, oh, like here are things that are making it difficult for me to make the choices that are in alignment with this identity I'm trying to have. And then it is a flow and a circle, and we're learning and getting feedback, and we're saying, hey, celebrate the small wins. It's like, hey, I made it through this space. Sometimes I would have been distracted by that, but here I wasn't. Okay, so we feel good about that. And if we made a choice, we say in a retrospect, we say, oh, I think that wasn't quite the identity. Then we can be very thoughtful about it, maybe bring this process in. How can I shape my environment or experience so I don't even have to deal with it again? Right? I love that. I'll tell you, shopping the outside of the grocery store, a good way to avoid end caps, right? Like if you can do it, because they're trying to hit all the stuff is not so good. If we hit the produce, we blow around, the outside. So much processed stuff in the middle. Here is a section I thought was really interesting. We're talking about vision, the way things look. They say the most powerful of all human sensory abilities is vision. Human body, they say, 11 million sensory receptors, and approximately 10 million of those are part of the visual system. Some experts estimate that half of the brain's resources are used on vision. Given that we are more dependent on vision than any other sense, it should come as no surprise that visual cues are the greatest catalyst for our behavior. And for this reason, a small change in what you see can lead to a big shift in what you do. Isn't that interesting to think about? As a result, you can imagine how important it is to live and work in environments that are filled with productive cues and devoid of unproductive ones. This is like trying to summarize the whole ethos of what we have. We are visual people. Like we see things, and that is priming the system. It's like the red can, want to grab it and buy it, right? It's like we see it. The flashy, colorful can, whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? This is the sort of thing, think about it. If we think, okay, I am like a brain, I am a mind. It's like the brain works on vision. Like what are the cues? Like what are we actually seeing? This is why I did the video for Friday, digital fasting. I thought was good. It's like, okay, what we see is so important, and we got strange devices. See, I don't even have my phone here. Look at that. Got the device, and it's trying to sell us something, right? I say, let's, use it for good things. We're connecting on it. I say that's great, but like, let's put it in its place. And as we are carving out spaces where we say fasting space for the body, don't have to worry about PFAS and microplastics and highly processed stuff coming on into the body, at least for a little while. Screen is away during as much of that time as we can too. Means nothing coming into the mind, and we're not seeing things that are trying to manipulate us through an algorithm. Anything that we can just do to say, hey, how do I flow through this space in a more natural, peaceful, positive way? Being very choosy, right? What are the things that we choose to see, right? That is creating the experience that we want to have. They say here, you don't have to be the victim of your environment. You can also be the architect of it. I super loved that. Have you thought of yourself that way? Can you be the architect of your environment? Like this is how we start bringing in the creative process. Like Rick Rubin we were reading. How do we be the creator of our life and our experience? As much as we can, right? We can't necessarily change everything. But like certain things we say are a given, and like from the hand that we are dealt, the places that we are in, we say, how do we take this and then bring in those thinking? Obstacle is the way. We say, oh, I don't like how this environment is. Well, how do we take it and shape it to our advantage? Very thoughtfully. This next section is like, okay, how do you do it? How do you design an environment for success? It's the next section. They say here, every habit is initiated by a cue. And we're most likely to notice the cues that stand out. Unfortunately, environments where we live and work often make it easy not to do certain actions because there is no obvious cue to trigger the behavior. I was thinking this a lot in our space, like fasting space. How do you cue something that is nothing? Isn't that interesting? I have some thoughts about that. It's easy to not practice your instrument when it's put away in the closet. It's easy not to read a book when the bookshelf is in the corner of the guest room. When the cues are subtle and hidden, they're easy to ignore. But obvious visual cues draw your attention to the habit. How do you make, like if we're going to dial in on our fasting space, we can talk about anything. It's easier to see with food, right? He tells a story here where he's like, he'd buy apples and he'd throw them in the back of the fridge and they'd sit there and then they would go bad over months. He'd never see them, okay? But then when he got a dish and he put them out on the table and that's the thing that you see, easier to start eating an apple. You know what I mean? It's like it's there. Out of sight, out of mind. Like present, like top of mind. Like what are the things you see? Make the apple a centerpiece in the place where you see it, easier to grab it. How do we make fasting easier to grab? Like it's nothing. Maybe it's just by keeping everything else out of the way. Okay, that's one thing. Or it's like putting a nice pitcher of water with a little sliced up lemon in it, and some ice so it's always cold, and then that is in a prominent place so you can always say, oh, the thing I am doing in this space is grabbing the water, Whereas like if you're using coffee to get through a space, like the coffee is out in a thing, it's like where the snack plate used to be, the black coffee is there, you can always just grab it, help you flow through that morning space. So that's the type of thing. Keeping everything away that is the negative distraction, putting the positive things in there. I was reading his description of this, grab an apple. Like I think it's pretty fair to say nobody gained too much weight by eating too many apples, I was having this silly little thought of like apple fasting, it's like you just ate apples, like for a while. Like did an apple get you through? Not pure fasting, but like I guarantee you, like if you're trying to do an OMAD but you can't do it and just an apple gets you through, it's good enough, it's very likely good enough. I put a few notes around this section too. Yeah, I have the easy stuff out, and then like that's just, to me, that's bringing in these concepts I really like minimalism, like just and just like cleaning the house as an idea to like clean the body, right? We're shaped by the environment. Think on the big level. I've done some big talks on like how our bodies collectively as a society are mirroring industrial society. And then like we can just bring it on, like on the small scale. Like, are you keeping the house clean? We talk about autophagy, clean the cellular structure, like burn through everything. Like we want every environment mirroring each other. So like, are you having trouble getting the interior space clean? Like maybe just clean the house, it's like just get everything really clean there. It's like giving such a metaphor for like the mirroring between the environment and the body. Really do like that. Get rid of clutter. If you have clutter, get rid of clutter. We're trying to get the clutter out of the body, out of the mind, and out of the environment. Like bring it all together. They say if you want to make a habit a big part of your life, make the cue a big part of the environment. That's something really to think about. They say the most persistent behaviors usually have multiple cues, or like big prominent cues. So like I was thinking about this, I'm saying, okay, like fasting, how do you put a big fasting? Maybe you buy a ridiculously big pitcher, it's like, it's just, and it's like prominent, like I invested a big, beautiful glass pitcher that we can like really make, or like a water cooler or something that we put there to say, hey, like this is a focus, this is a focal point. Whereas like, it's not always snacks or food even that is out, but we're going to focus on staying hydrated. And especially if you could make it beautiful, like something really nice to look at, or you say, hey, that is something I want to see, is making it a priority. I like that. They just reiterate here, make sure the best choice is the most obvious one. Environmental design is powerful, they say, not only because it influences how we engage with the world, but also because we so rarely do it. And a double-lined this sentence. Most people live in a world others have created for them. But you can alter the spaces where you live and work. Increase your exposure to positive cues. Reduce your exposure to negative ones. Environmental design allows you to take back control and become the architect of your life. Be the designer of your world and not merely the consumer of it. I just think that is such a thoughtful, powerful situation to create. Stop living in a world others have created for you. Start living in to the greatest extent you can, design the world that you want to live in. That'll make the atomic habits the easiest way to flow through. Do you feel that way? I say do some thinking on it. Share, I do want to know, like, do you find small places where it's like, oh, this is a trigger in the environment that I can change and move it? Is it taking away something that you had out, a clutter of some kind, a food cue of some kind? Or is it adding in some thoughtful sort of thing that is helping you to make a better decision, making some sort of beautiful place where you can get delicious, pure water to help support that fasting process? Maybe we've done other cues in the past. It's getting the gym clothes out. It's getting the running shoes by the door. It's getting the swim stuff there. So it's like everything is lined up so that you can make that movement choice. Maybe it's making the shopping list. That's a big one. So it's like, I love to say, win the battle at the grocery store. Like anything that you buy at the grocery store and bring into your house, high probability just went up that you're going to eat it, right? So go to the grocery store in the right frame of mind, maybe after you ate a meal, then go, so you're not so hungry going into it. Have the list. That's the best cue. Say, I'm just getting the stuff on the list. I'm not looking at the end caps where I know people trying to manipulate me and sell me things that aren't on the list. This is how we flow through these environments in the best possible way. What ways do you see these sort of effects in your life, both from the positive and negative side, where we can kind of turn down one and turn up the other? Would love to know. Very nice to share this space with you today. Let me know your ongoing thoughts in the comments of this video. Love to have an ongoing discussion with you, and I'll be back with more reflections and thoughts tomorrow. Have a great day, everybody.